Hello and welcome to Talking Toll podcast. I'm your host Teddy, and today I'm going to be joined once again by
Aiden.
And today we're going to be talking about the TMNT 2012 Season 1 Episode 18 Cockroach Terminator. So, what did you think about this episode, briefly?
This episode was, hands down, pretty cool in my opinion, and I think I may have a new favourite character.
Oh god.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
A really good. I don't know why, but I just loved this episode for some odd reason, and the name is quite fitting for what it is, like the Exterminator, and I just can't wait to get into this.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed how they expanded upon Rat's phobia of bugs, because in the 2003 version they set it up but then never did anything with it. So I enjoyed how in this version they did something with it. However, I just can't help but feel like this episode overall for me is just so okay. There's nothing really like outstanding about like so good or anything that's so bad, but like it's just an okay episode. But yeah. So yeah, okay. So first start off with Raphael trying to kill Donnie's cockroach, and that is when Donnie comes in and says that, oh no, this cockroach is special because it has a webcam, it has a saw, and it's tamed by Donnie. What did you think of this scene?
Well, that scene was kind of funny. I just want to bring up the fact that Mikey says, "Yeah, boy." Like, he actually says, "Yeah, boy." I don't know why. That's like a little thing that I picked up on. And he's like, "Yeah, boy." That's what he said, and I'm like, "Oh my god, he said it first." That's what I picked up on. I don't know why. Just a little tangent. Already, like literally 5 minutes in, and we're going on a tangent. But just gonna put it out there. Mikey said, "Yeah, boy," first. Like, it was just so funny just hearing that. Just hearing Mikey say, "Yeah, boy," was just the funniest thing I've ever heard. So, just want to throw that out there. But overall, it was kind of funny seeing Raph have the phobia of bugs. That was pretty funny to see, because Raph is all the tough and all that, and just seeing him cower over a cockroach was a bit different.
Yeah, I'd say that. So with this scene, I don't have like anything to like. I don't hate the scene, but I think the scene's okay. But I just had like a lot of questions really just about Donnie. So first off, how did he get a cockroach and tame it to be like a good pet type thing? How was he able to get a mini webcam onto the cockroach? And then how was he able to apply a saw into the cockroach? I just have so many questions about this scene in terms of Donnie and the cockroach. Just
hmm
why and how?
Like I've said before, why isn't Donnie the Emperor of Earth yet? Like, seriously, with all this technology behind him, all these skills that he's learned, how is he not like an emperor of Earth in this? I just don't understand how he does it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
he
okay.
should
Well, after
be a
that,
tech billionaire
yeah,
by now.
definitely. You know, it's like how like, every episode, like every podcast, you come on just go like, oh yeah, Donnie, he should be ruling the world, ruling the universe. So, oh, just like I like that how that's your only takeaway from all the from all these episodes.
hmm
Well, after that, we do have the cockroach maybe going into TCRI is not. You know, said they're going into TCRI is definitely not, and that is when the Taurus realize or find out that the Krang are trying to use a drill to go into the Earth. But then that's when the cockroach goes into the mission and then transforms into the cockroach Terminator. What do you think of this scene? Oh, yeah.
This scene was a bit different for me because I I loved how the cockroach got the conversation of basically the Krang's new diet and how he lost 13 Krang units. I just found that I don't know why. I just found that funny. Like, seriously, the Krang are dieting. Like, just why? You're not even from this Earth, this universe. Like, why? Just but I like it though. I just like it how they just put it in there, some random conversation. I just love how it's so small, but it's just so funny to hear that the Krang are dieting and just how they're like losing pounds. I'm like, it was just the little tiny things that just made me laugh.
What do you think of
But
the cockroach going into the mutagen and transforming?
that was I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit curious on what it was gonna turn out to be, but I actually like how he turned out. Like he literally, I can't describe it anything else. He is the Terminator. Like, he is literally the Terminator, but as a cockroach. And I'm not gonna lie, he looks pretty cool. His character design, his whole aesthetic, his presence is menacing, just like the actual Terminator. And I'm just gonna say this now. This episode was heavily copycatting the Terminator itself. Like, it was just clear as day what they were trying to do. They were copycatting Terminator and turning it into their own thing, which is okay. It's all good. It actually works, but it is just Terminator written all over this episode.
Yeah, I mean that's the reason why I was, last week I was trying to explain what episode was without explaining it with saying Terminator thing, just because, like, looking back now, if you was to hear that title, it'd be like, oh my god, yeah, that is so obvious to what they're trying to do. And I know that you've seen the Terminator movies and you loved them, and so I feel like this is probably like one of your like I'm just going off a limb. I would probably say that this is probably one of your favorite episodes just because of like the whole Terminator thing, and yeah, it definitely was a direct parody of the thing, and it does somehow work surprisingly.
Yeah, it is up there, but I'm not gonna lie, it wouldn't be my favorite episode, but it is definitely up there with my most likable. Yeah, so I know this may be coming to a shock for you, but it's not one of my favorites, but it's definitely up there. It's definitely up there.
I'm quite surprised at that, just because I know you like really do enjoy those movies. I would have thought that you would enjoy it quite a lot because of the whole Terminator aspect. I'm quite surprised at that. Um, but yeah, um, so I did also have a comment about the Krang, just like why are they on the diet? And then when the cockroach did get it's going to mission, my only thought behind that was, even though it did look really cool and I like how this like mutation, we got to see it go through like a tube and see how it got transformed, and I did really enjoy that. But how did none of the Krang see he was getting mutated or even hear because it wasn't like they was
Oh
trying
my
to hide,
god,
or he
yeah.
wasn't trying to hide or anything. But yeah. So yeah,
Unrealistic.
after that, again.
Hmm.
But yeah, after that, the cockroach does leave the building, and that is when Leo accidentally runs over the cockroach, and the Turtles get out to look at it, but then he comes alive. What do you think of these scenes?
Um, I'm not gonna lie, when the turtles ran over the cockroach, I was like, oh no, seriously? Literally, it's only been 5 minutes since this guy was bought, this guy was created, and he's dead. Like, come on, seriously. And just seeing him like crumbled over the shell racer was like, it was a bit disheartening. And just seeing the turtles poking at their own creation, like they made Frankenstein. Literally, Donnie made Frankenstein right there. Literally, it was just so
Oh
weird and
yeah.
so disheartening just seeing them just poking the thing. Like, it's already it's like dead already, and you're just poking it and all that. But I did like how Donnie was like how he just remembered that this thing is his own creation, and I just love how Donnie was like trying to make sense of it all, just saying how it's like unprecedented and it's never seen before. And then of course, oh, I love Mikey. Like Mikey's like cool, it's so cool. And then of course Raph, he's absolutely terrified. And I don't know why, I just laughed so much about Raph's phobia of cockroaches. Like I never thought his fear would be cockroaches, you know? Like I thought it'd be something else, like a fear of, let's say, cats or something else, but cockroaches, like, he lives in a sewer. Like, come on. Seriously. Like, he lives in a sewer. There's gonna be cockroaches in the sewer. Unless he had, like, a bad memory of cockroaches when he was a child, and that's what left him with this fear. But I have no idea. But it's just so funny just seeing him, like, react in that way to say, let's drive 1,000 miles away from this thing and leave it to die.
Yeah, I'd just say, but like with these scene, I do think that Raph slapping Donnie and Mikey, going flap and then hitting them, I thought that was a bit pointless, and very unnecessary just to show off, like, because it is mainly like a Raph focused episode, and I do feel like doing that was a bit pointless. Um, but when Matildas do get outside and look at the dead cockroach, and it has a different kind of lighting, and I'm pretty sure you definitely picked up on this, and I love that whole scene with the lighting, make it feel more darker, grittier, and more of a horror
Yes.
type movie. I absolutely love that so much. I
Mm-hmm.
wish they would have kept that throughout the whole
Agree.
of the episode. Um, but yeah, and then I do think that the shooting, then Raph shooting the cockroach with all the manhole covers, even after he's down. I feel like maybe that was a bit overkill with it all, but yeah,
That was
it's
so
still doing the
unnecessary.
job.
Not unnecessary. Like
Oh
even
yeah.
like the one manhole that just he got shot right in the privates. Like I felt so sorry for that cockroach. Like he's just been run over by you. Now you're shooting at him, and now you just took a shot at its privates. Like give him a break. That was just so unnecessary. Like Raph is just no wonder why that thing wanted to kill him so much.
Yeah. I mean, like, going back to your point about the whole the whole fear of it. Surprisingly, this is actually the only second time in total history that they've actually ever did something with this. The first time was in the 2003 show, and again, there wasn't really anything to the whole idea of Raph having a phobia with bugs, even though the episode that showed it in, they went to like a bug world, but they never did anything with his phobia, expand upon it, or try to help him. They did absolutely nothing with it. But in this episode, I do
Really?
like how, with the whole cockroach, or cockroach was the villain, and was able to expand upon, or a little bit expand upon Raph's phobia. I do really enjoy how it was a big threat, and somewhat at the end he overcame his fear of bugs. But yeah, but yeah, after that, the Krang do go off. Oh
Hello?
no, the Turtles do go back after the Krang to try and get the diamond. Then Leo tries to speak in the Krang but gives up, and that's when the Turtles fight the Cockroach Terminator again. What do you think of these scenes?
Well, that scene was, it was, I'm not gonna lie. This scene, okay, I've got some good points for this scene. I just loved how they just find the so-called diamond at like this rundown place. It doesn't really look like a laboratory. Like it's just literally a rundown garage, and I'm just like, unless it was a secret lab that no one knew about and the Krang did, but who's the judge? The other thing was when they found it. Of course, Leo was trying to speak Krang, and of course he just gives up. I'm like, thank God, Leo, because you're not good at the voice. You had it. You had your one shot with the Krang voice. It's time to put it away, and it's time to move on from that. You just stop repeating it, please. Of course, when Leo goes after him, like goes after the diamond. It was just so crazy just to see the Terminator just annihilate the Krang. Just it is such. I can't stress this enough. This episode was Terminator written all over, and I loved it. Like I absolutely loved it. How he's just standing there, just so menacingly. Oh, it's Terminator written all over. It's so good. I just can't describe how I feel because it's like it's my childhood movie, Terminator, watching it as a kid and now seeing it in like another franchise and just linking the two together. It's such a good feeling how they would just bring one good movie and a good show together. It's artistry.
Wow.
What did you think of this?
God. Well, this scene, I like how Leo was talking in the Krang. It did feel a bit weird in a way, but at the same time, he did it last episode, so I don't think the joke landed as well as it probably could have if they waited a bit more. But overall, thought that was quite good. I did really enjoy Mikey's joke about meat maker. I thought that was quite funny.
Oh
Just
yeah.
just pushing Donny straight into the. But yeah, I think this is probably one of the better fights in the episode. Um, I like how like using the bug spray and then the beat him up and then things go wrong as it's not working. There's quite a lot of stuff which I do enjoy about this fight. Raph just like just running away and stuff like that is normal. Um, but yeah, but yeah, that's really all I've got to say about this one. But yeah, after that, the cockroach or the cockroach does get away, and then that's when the Turtles is all bullying Raph for his phobia. But then somehow the cockroach gets under the van from the sewers, and that's when the next fight happens. What do you think of this scene?
Um, I don't know. I just want to quickly ask, how did the cockroach get into the sewers? Just a quick one.
Uh,
How did the cockroach get into the sewer and then of course reappear? Like I
I'll
just
do
don't
you one
understand
better.
that.
I'll do you one better. How's the Shellraiser working without the power cell? Hmm.
Oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. How is this working?
Yep.
How is it like what are they doing? Are they running on is that thing running on diesel, unleaded? Like, come on. These are questions that gotta be answered.
Like, oh yeah. I mean, sad part about it is that I don't think they ever do get the power cell back, or if they do, I don't think they ever like use it for the Shellraiser again. So this is a big plot hole.
I'm thinking of what fuel sources they're running on right now.
Well, it's Johnny, so I guess anything really.
Mm, biofuel,
Yep.
some depleted uranium is found somewhere. It's Donny.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
were
I'm not too
saying
sure
though?
how he got. You're not sure how he got into the sewers, and I'm even more confused about how he got under the van, moving the manhole cover, and onto the van within like under a second. That confused me. But like the thing which was even more
Unrealistic.
confusing for me was yeah, and was just how like Vitel's just bullying Raph. Oh, just because he has a phobia, and he was quite scared. And if people did have a bug phobia, then it'll be understandable. But why are they bullying him
Yeah.
so much for something so minor? I mean, if it was the way around, well, I guess it wouldn't. I guess Raph would be bullying them, but that's not the point I'm trying to make here.
Yeah, I just don't
Um,
understand it. Like, I guess it's payback.
yeah. In the next fight scene, we got Raph running away, but that's when the cockroach is like molts, and Mikey tries to get Raph to give him his comic book collection, What do you think of these scenes?
I'm not gonna lie. This I was just gonna say that the cockroach Terminator was my favorite character for that scene.
Mm.
Like he was just incredible for me. He's up there on the chart with Master Splinter, um, Dog Pound, and all the rest right now. But when he molts, that's when he starts to drop a bit, you know? Like he turns into this
Oh yeah.
massive, weird looking blob, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I start to think like, yeah, this character is no longer my fave. But all that aside, I just like I know he fell into the mutagen, right? But how did he somehow molt his skin off? Like all the electronic parts are still attached to his shell, and just how did he just molt out the concrete? There's so many unanswered questions. Like just how?
Just, just, just don't.
Well, I did like how the fact that he had the circuitry in his wings, but apart from that, his character was like it was Jabba the Hutt basically.
Yeah, must admit, I don't like his design. I do think it was pretty bad. Um, I mean, I say there are like some decent elements about it. Like I would say, like you already mentioned with the wings, like that's pretty cool with how he was able to do like the coding, like the blues. I really did enjoy all the colors for them, but
Mm,
I still don't think the colors can really help it. Nothing about it could help um, it in general. It was just a bad
mhm.
design. But yeah, with this
Yeah.
scene, I don't really have too much to say. So with the Raph kicking Mikey, that anime type scene, for some reason that's like a really popular scene. I'm not too sure why, but whenever you see like videos on YouTube or like, social media, there's like normally one of the uh like videos which people normally use, and I'm not too sure why, but yeah. But when Raph was running away from the cockroach and jumping over the concrete, I did find it to be a bit unnecessary amount of parkouring from jumping up to a building and then down onto the concrete, rolling and then getting up and running. He could have just jumped over the fence. I know there's a bit of concrete there, or wet concrete, but he still could have potentially just jumped over it. Um, but
Yeah, he could
yeah.
have.
Um,
He could
well,
have.
yeah, and then after that, Raph gets out his bike to like distract the cockroach terminator. What do you think of this scene, and what do you think of the bike?
Oh my gosh, the bike was a huge surprise because where does he put it? Like where does Donnie put this stuff? Like it's it's I just don't understand. And it comes out of nowhere. And of course, it's got its own like metal, its own shell. And I'm not gonna lie, it looks so alike the bat bike. Do you not see that reference? The bat bike.
Oh yeah,
It is literally the
yeah,
spitting
certainly I
image of
do.
the bat bike. I don't know whether that was like an inspiration or whether they just
Yeah,
copycatted
no, I'd say
it
with the
or
bike,
whatever they did. Like it was just it was cool to see in action.
yeah,
Like it was
I don't know.
completely invisible to the bug as well. Like I don't know what material he was using to cover himself up. Like was it like a material that the bug couldn't sense or see? But just seeing the bike in action was pretty cool, and just seeing how all the parts came together to make a shell, and just seeing it in action was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but like the how the cockroach was now not able to see the bike, even though it could see where the show racer is, and then look beyond the walls, but not able to find Raph. And yeah, I do find that to be very confusing. But yeah, with the overall the bite for it, I don't know. For me, like it's always been one of those things where because I was watching this episode as a young age, I never really given it too much thought about the bike. I mean, I think it's okay and stuff like that, but yeah, I must admit now hearing it out loud about saying it's like the Batmobile. Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah, I could definitely see where it come from with,
It's
with that
stuck in
whole
your head
thing.
now, isn't it?
Unfortunately, yes. It's only took me 10 years to to realise that. Um,
Ah.
but yeah, after that we do have Raphael or the turtles get trapped in the door, so it's up to Raph to go and fight the cockroach one last time, and he uses the laser and yeah. What do you think of this scene?
um, I'm not gonna lie. There's so many questions that are unanswered. Like, of course, they found the facility and it's a wide open space, and just like I know the Krang saw them, but surely it's a wide open area, this facility, and of course the Krang could see them, but I just thought they could see them a bit further away, so they would have closed the gates a bit earlier, but it wouldn't help the plot and all that, but it was kind of weird just seeing the Shell Razor get stuck and how, like, surely the Shell Razor would have had some ability to, like, get out an emergency escape hatch, like something, just to get the turtles out on the battlefield and fight. But I won't moan about it. But I did like how Raph was like the only one. Like, it was this episode was solely fixated on Raph, and I was just loving how he was the center of attention for this episode. But another thing as well, I just Raph just takes it in his stride to take control of the situation. Like, he climbs the drill, like he just climbs it like Spider-Man does, and I don't understand how he rips it out, but when he rips out the actual laser drill, it's still getting power and it's still going despite the fact that he ripped it out. So I don't know what's powering it still, unless it's still connected by some miracle. But that was just unrealistic. Just he removed it from the power source, so how is it still going? Unless the power source
It
is
was still
in the
connected by
diamond,
a
I have no
wire.
idea.
It was still connected by a wire.
Or oh yeah, still connected by a wire. That's a really good one as well. Because I couldn't see no
It
wire.
explains
Like,
everything.
explains everything, yeah. They almost had it at they almost had me at unrealistic, but if there was a wire attached to it, then it will be fine.
Yeah. I mean, like you already said with the Shellracer being stuck, like there was options for Turtles to get out, either through the front, the back, or even where Raph's bike came out from. There were options that they could have had to get out of, but I think just because they needed Raph to be the one to fight him, that's the reason why they couldn't get out. Even though it makes sense
Yeah.
for like the story, oh, it frustrates me, but not as much as like previous episodes. Um, but with the whole
Mm.
fight scene with Raph versus the cockroach, I don't know. I thought it was okay. I just don't think there was anything too special or amazing about it. I mean, this is but that might just be me. And then I mean, but with the like the laser thing, um, I do feel like when it did destroy, like it could cause a lot more damage if the drill was that powerful to go through the earth crust and stuff like that. Shouldn't it just be able to quickly go through conveyor belts, the pavement and stuff like that, and possibly destroy like New York? If it's had to go that far down into the earth, yeah. And then the way that it even stops, or the whole drill stops, is by taking out one of the legs, and that's it. That didn't destroy or stop its connection with the power. So Oh god, I got a feeling it's gonna be another case of me just getting annoyed for little things that don't really mean anything.
Yep, yep. I can see it happening now. The unrealism right now. I can feel your pain because it also annoyed me as well. Like the laser is huge. Like surely it could easily destroy Manhattan as well. And of course, the power source needed to dig down to the center of the Earth in that time frame, like that quickly. They must be using like the whole grid, unless they got their own, unless they're using the Krang power source, which is most likely so. But it's just how could they dig so quickly? Like surely it would like they could use the laser for everything else, but they decided to dig to the Earth's core. Like surely they could have wiped out Manhattan, easily wiped out the eastern seaboard with that laser, and boom, Bob's your uncle. You got the eastern seaboard all to yourself, and then you could bring in the Krang, and then you could probably destroy the world with the laser. But that's how I would go about the invasion of Krang. But who's to say? I'm not judging.
What did you think of the final scene with Mikey or like Raph being very happy about how he conquered his fear, but then Mikey saying that he put a cockroach in his shell? What do you think of that scene?
That was funny. That was also funny. Just seeing how Raph overcome his fear as well. Like giving the moral of the story, just seeing how like look, you need to face your fears to overcome them. And then of course Mikey putting a cockroach in Raph's shell still shows that he's still afraid of cockroaches. Like oh, just seeing that like Raph is gonna have a phobia, but he's not gonna have like a serious mental breakdown because of it, which is kind of nice because just seeing Raph useless in a fight was it wasn't right. Just seeing Raph hide and cower because of a cockroach wasn't right, in my opinion. But now that he's overcome this fear and that we've seen him fight the cockroach, fight his fear, it was pretty cool. But seeing them laugh at him because they put snap cockroach in there, it was really funny just to see how he's like, yep, the moral of the story is to face your fears, but then immediately forget about it and just freak out because it's a cockroach in your shell.
Yeah, I think for this scene, like, I think I mean, like with previous character-driven episodes, such as like a Tell Temper with Raph's anger, Metalhead, or like New Friend Old Enemy, where they focus on the turtle and they supposedly go through a character arc, or but then it's only for that one episode where they only have that problem for then, but never expand upon it or anything like that. Um, I do like how at the end of this one they do show that he hasn't really gone over his fear, but I do think that works really well for the story, just because most people, if you have a phobia, you don't really get over it. And I do like how they, I just like how they didn't fix it. I know that normally I'll probably be like, oh yeah, that's really bad storytelling, but I think for what they're trying to do in the story they're going for, I think it does work in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, what do you think of this episode overall?
This episode was this episode was a good one. To be honest, I think now realizing and talking about it and just seeing how the Terminator was heavily involved in this making of the episode, I think it's going to be up there with my top 10. I changed my mind. It's going to be up one of my favorites because of the Terminator. Just seeing the cockroach Terminator was just awesome. Just seeing how the cockroach was fixated with wrath and wanted to absolutely annihilate him, just like in the Terminator movies with Sarah Jane and Sarah Connor. Sarah Jane? No, Sarah Connor. Yeah, Sarah Connor. Just just seeing Raph being portrayed as Sarah Connor and all that, and with the Terminator. Sure, the Terminator in this episode, the cockroach Terminator, sorry, he didn't speak, but he didn't need to speak to alert his presence. Like, he was just there. However, the only downside to this episode is that once the cockroach Terminator molted and he turned into what looked like Jabba the Hutt's cousin or something, I have no idea. That's when the character, for me, got a bit like, yeah, he's not my favorite, but during the first couple of scenes when he mutated, he was just the bomb. He was the badass. He was just killing the Krang. And you know me, if something's killing and destroying the Krang, he's good in my books.
Oh, so I was correct about saying that it was one of your favourite episodes then.
Yeah, I changed my mind. It was it was up there with my favorites.
Good. I'll just say, for me, I just found this episode so just okay. I don't think there's anything. I mean, I think I've only seen Terminator 2, and from what I've heard from my dad, they don't get any better. They're just about the same from Terminator 2. So I feel like I've seen them all, but at the same time, I think that if I do have more of a connection with Terminator and stuff like that, I would
Yeah,
probably say, oh yeah, this episode is amazing and do it for this and this and this. But I think that without any type of connection with it, I just think this episode just comes off as just okay. And it's not like there's nothing like anything really bad about this episode, but at the same time, I don't think there's anything really great or outstanding. I like the references to Terminator, even though I might not understand them, but it's one of those things where I can appreciate it, but uh, I think that makes sense in a way.
yeah, it does. Like, you gotta watch the Terminator to understand the references. Like, one of the references for Terminator, like where the cockroach is walking out the fire, and you just see his red eye. That is like used in the Terminator quite a lot, where the Terminator is being crushed by fire or steel. He just walks out unhinged, like unharmed, unhinged, and that's that's a that's a heavy Terminator reference to me. Just seeing him walk out the fire unhinged, unharmed. That was a major reference, but you have to see the movies to understand it. But for what it's trying to portray, like you said, it works so well.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, moving on. We've only got one comment this week, and all they put was Spy Roach, so I don't think I had to say anything else other than that.
Oh gosh. Yep.
So yeah, okay, do you want to hear some trivia? I think you'd be
Yeah, let's
really
hear the
interested to
trivia.
hear about trivia. It's heavily Terminator. Okay,
Yep.
so Donatello Spy Roach is never given any name other than that. Although it was named Chong at conventions, he is named and the reason for his name is because of a storyboard artist called Chong Suk Lee as a tribute. Hopefully I did not say that name wrong. If I did, then sorry. The show Razor appears fully functional again, without any explanation of how it is running without the Krang power cell. Yeah, we commented on that, and I feel like less said about that bear, so we can keep our insanity.
That would just be a whole
uh,
episode in itself. Just me and you trying to figure out what is running on it, whether it's uranium, biofuel, unleaded, diesel, petrol. It would just be its own thing.
I just feel like this, like if it was to truly break down every scene from every episode, we wouldn't be that far ahead into because we'll probably spend like an hour just talking about one thing that like it really makes like no difference
Oh
if we talk
yeah.
about it or not. So inconsequential, but God, yeah. Um, Raphael's fear or disgust of bugs is carried over from the previous or from the 2003 show. This is the first episode in which the Turtles eat something other than pizza. Raph fears a cockroach is called catrophobia. Raph's line, a cockroach, why did it have to be cockroach? is a reference to Indiana Jones' quote, snakes. Why did it be snakes from
Oh my
Raiders of the Lost
gosh!
Ark? Okay,
Yes!
now
Oh
this
my
next.
god, I don't know why I didn't pick that one up.
Okay, well, this next one is
Oh
even
god, the
better.
Terminator.
This next one is even better, as there's 6 point about how this episode is a direct parody of Terminator. So the episode
Yes.
title, as well as the mutated spy roach itself, are reference to the Terminator franchise, as well as the T800 series of cyborgs portrayed by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Point 1. The cockroach vision is similar to the Terminator's. Point 2 is weapon. Point 3 is it's half machine and half organic appearance. Point 4, the truck exploding and the spy roach emerging from the fire. Point 5, when Raph
Yes.
is body wait when Raph is body it only bends a little and spy roach continues walking. And then point 6, the music. I'm not too sure if it did share similar music or, but then again, I haven't
Hmm.
seen much of Cockroach, so or no, not Cockroach, Terminator, to know about it.
Yes. I just love
Okay,
how, like I said, there was the explosion and he just walking out the fire. That was a major reference.
yeah, it's also hoping for oh, I thought it would have been cool. You know, in Terminator 2, where he's burning and he puts the thumbs up. I feel like they could have done something like that, but in the Michigan. I feel like that could have been
Oh
quite
yeah,
cool to see.
that would have been cool.
Uh, okay, do you want to hear the cast?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so Rob Paulson does Donatello, Nolan North does the Krang, Jason Biggs does Leonardo, Greg Sipes does Michelangelo, Sean Astin does Raphael, and the truck driver was played by Nolan North. So this episode was really short in terms of who they had for the cast. Before like going off
Hmm.
from last week, we looked at Rob Paulson. I feel like maybe good to look at another tall actor. Which one do you want to look at today? From Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael. Which one would you like to hear what else they've been in?
Raphael.
Okay. Well, he's played by Sean Astin. He was born February 25th, 1971. He's 51. He does the voice of Raphael in 2012 show. Um, Astin is well known for his role for several roles, such as Samwise Gamgee in Lord of the Rings trilogy, Mike Walsh, the adventurous leader in The Goonies, Daniel Rudd in Ruddy, William Billy in Temper, William no Billy Temper in Toy Soldier, Bob Newman in the second season of Stranger Things. He's the second Goonie cast member to play one of the Tulls, the first being Corey Feldman as Tonto in the first Tull movie, who then later went on to play another character in this show. He's best known for the voice and was Special Agent Oz in the television of the same name. And he's also been like other shows as well, other big ones as well. He's been in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's been in Big Bang Theory. He's just been in quite a lot.
Yes, and he's even been in Stranger Things.
Yeah, I've only watched a few episodes of that, but I can only imagine him being like extremely good in that. God,
Mm,
yeah,
definitely.
he seems like I do enjoy his performance as Raphael. I do think it works as Raphael, but I don't think it's what I would say is my definitive Raphael. But I do think he's a really good actor and does a really good job at doing this version of Raph. And with all the other stuff that he's been in, it feels like what we said about like for Roger Craig Smith. He feels like another one that feels like, oh, he should be part of our childhood with just the amount of stuff that he's been in. But for some reason, he's
Yeah.
just not. I mean, I remember watching Goonies, but I wouldn't really say that. Oh, yeah, that's anything like he's a childhood favorite actor or
Yeah.
anything. But yeah,
Yeah, Sean
okay.
Astin in
So
The Goonies was pretty cool.
okay, so for next week's episode is called Baxter's Gambit. What do you think is going to happen in that episode?
Baxter's Gambit. Huh. Baxter's Gambit. Well, I think I've got it. Right. Hear me out. There's going to be Baxter, Stratton Baxter. Stratton Baxter? You know, Baxter, he's going to be in it. Baxter Scotland,
Yeah.
that's it. There he is.
Yeah.
He's going to be in it, and he's going to create some sort of like gambit, so like a maze or a trial or something that the turtles are going to go up against, like one of his new inventions that he's made for Shredder, or something like maybe Cypher, perhaps. We're going to see Cypher in it. But I know Baxter Stockman is definitely going to be in it. And he's going to create some wacky invention that the turtles are going to go up against. That's my idea.
You were almost like nearly 100% correct with your guess.
No.
Wow, that is. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you know, you're actually 100% correct about it. Really, I mean, if you just go a bit more confident with your answer, then you are correct.
Oh my gosh,
It's only
yes.
taking you 18
Yes.
episodes.
Oh my gosh, I finally got one. Right. This is gonna go down in podcast history. I got one right for once.
I don't think it go down in podcast history. I think it go down in our podcast history, but
yeah, our
still, either
podcast
way,
history,
good
the
job.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle podcast history. Yes.
It's only taking you 18 episodes, but we finally did it.
I did it.
About time.
Do I get a reward?
We'll talk about it afterwards.
I'm joking.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to say about this episode?
Not really, no, but all I could say was I just loved just the cockroach Terminator. Like, he's such a cool character. And just seeing how much this episode was influenced by the Terminator was just, it was bliss. It was a nice change of pace, and it was just so cool just seeing Terminator in the Turtles. Like, oh my gosh. Brainwave thought, listen up, got a new idea. How about the Turtles become Terminators?
Sadly, there was actually a story in the annual about like 20 years ago. Sadly, that exists.
Someone got to me before I did.
Yeah, about 20 years, give or take.
Damn.
Well,
at least I wasn't the first.
Whoa, no. Oh, no, you should be sad about that because you're not the first to do it.
No, well, at least I'm not the first guy to think of the idea. Like, it's been out there, so...
Yeah, but that's not the point we're trying to make here. But, yeah. Okay, well, yeah, this has been another episode of Talking Tolls. If you do want to get onto the podcast, you can send a message on Anchor through a voice or a text one. You can leave a comment on the on the community tab when I put up the post. You can put a comment in the video on the video version of the podcast, or you can leave a comment on the post I put up on Reddit about this. But yeah, it's been another episode of Talking Tolls. I've been your host Teddy.
I've been Hayden.
And we'll see you all soon. Goodbye, yo. Bye.
Bye.